I strongly recommend Business at the Speed of Trust. Today, Warren Buffett said, I have done great deals only on trusting people that could go into diligence report, would go on millions of rupees, millions of dollars. But he said, it's all about trust. You see, where are we missing out? We're missing out on teaching tolerance to our children. Tolerance of food, tolerance of culture, ethnicity, of race, of faith, of gender. I was watching Alan Turing. You know, Alan Turing was the scientist who broke the Enigma code during World War II. Had it not been for Alan Turing did what? He stopped the Nazi Germany. If you don't believe me, watch the Netflix or Prime episode on the new world order, which would have happened had the Nazi Germany and the Imperial Japan won the World War II. A man in the high castle. And it is one man who broke the code and we could decode the German U-2 submarine. But he was a gay. Oh, that's a word you don't drop in. That's the word you don't speak. Today, the world is changing. What are you teaching your children about? Are you teaching them tolerance? Are you still being homophobic? You teach culture. Culture is different from rituals and faith. Culture is so localized. You must understand that every region culture would be different than yours. They may share the same faith, but yes, they're not the same people. I'll give an example. I went to Jaipur with my family. And for me, the best thing that happens is I go to different national resorts in the country. So we went to Kaziranga, the Bandipur, we are looking at Corbett and Sundarbans. And in Jaipur, it's known for elephants. So we went to a place called Elephantastic. Wow, I love the word, didn't you? But the problem was, in that whole village where the elephants lived in, the people were all Muslims. And my kids were like, they were fascinated because we share the same religion. But if you look at them, they had earrings or, the earpieces. They had mustache. They were turbanated. They didn't look like exactly the Muslims that live in Bhindi Bazaar, where my kids would be more aligned to. But yet, you have to understand, if they change and become the local Bhindi Bazaar Muslims, they would not be the Jats that they are known for. That's who they are. It's like going to Scotland and telling, don't wear your skirts. That's a female dress. That means the person does not know anything about the bagpipers except when he's drunk. You have to understand and appreciate region and culture. And that was the better lessons my daughter had at Elephantastic that they could ever learn in from any history or geography book. Go back to the movie Invictus, one of my favorite Morgan Freeman, Matt Damon. Morgan Freeman convincingly played Nelson Mandela. It is said that when he walked with Nelson Mandela and people went to Morgan Freeman as if he was Mandela and not the real one. That must be something. And in that movie, the Invictus is about after what happens. In the movie, when the blacks came to power, led by President Mandela, one of the icons of a century, one of the heroes I look to. It was said that rugby was an all-white sport and the blacks said scrape rugby. There was a Rugby World Cup scheduled in South Africa and said, we will not play, we'll teach them a lesson. And Mandela said something amazing. He said, if you take back the only thing they love, you are not becoming them, you are becoming worse than them. And not only did he encourage rugby, he understood, learned, must have worked hard on the names of every player on the white rugby team, supported. And believe me, it's history. South African rugby reached a pinnacle, winning the World Cup in their own country. That's what we are looking at. Don't be more Christian than the Christ. Don't try to put rituals where you don't need to. Embrace and tolerate and encourage cross culture. Learn about it. Speak about it. Go back and be proud. Today we are living in times where if you take up something you love, it could be the food from the Muslim palate, it could be temple from the Hindus mythology, it could be the stupas of the Buddhists as the Taliban did with the Bamiyan. You are not doing favor to your own religion. All you are doing is you're creating hatred and sowing seeds of discontentment. Rather than that, be appreciative. Love thy neighbor. I think we need Christ more than the Christians do. All of us need him. And how do you love? By embracing them, by being a part of them. Remember that example of a king who comes to India and then he's asked, a milk bowl comes in and sugar is added, and the sugar, it's a legendary Parsi story how the Parsis came and settled in India. They said, we will be like the sugar, you will not find us, but will be dissolved in your culture. And I think Parsis have done an immense favor to us. Thanks. Which one would